What's up, everybody? This is Jen K with Word on the Beat, the talk show that highlights amazing people doing incredible things in their communities. Today, my guest is someone that I'm so excited to have on the Orange Couch. I'm not even going to give too much of an intro because we are going to have him talk about his story. So please help me welcome C.A.U.T.I.O.N. Hi!
Hey.
I finally got it.
Hey, I'm here. We made it. We made it happen.
I'm so glad you're here. Now, C.A.U.T.I.O.N stands for something. What is the acronym?
Oh, yeah. The acronym is constantly after understanding that inspires opportunity and networking.
It's a mouthful.
It is a lot.
So how did you come up with that?
It's interesting that you say that because caution is the reinvention of myself as a younger child. Like when I was like probably 17, I was like, I can't be this hood name anymore. I gotta be me. I have to reinvent myself to be somebody who I need to be. And I was like trying to think of a word that could describe me, and the only thing I could come up with was caution, but like not because I wanted people to be scared of me, but because I wanted to take heed when I made decisions, because I felt like I was so I just react all the time, and there was no pause. So I was like, I should name myself Caution so I can remind myself to take caution. And then I was like, well, I can't just be Caution because I'm too complicated for no reason whatsoever. So originally it stood for critical association under the influence of no one,
Okay.
which meant, my association was super important, but I had to be under the rule or influence of no one, because I felt like being under the influence of other people and what they wanted me to be is how I ended up in that position to begin with, right?
Got
and that
it.
position being, becoming incarcerated as a young child,
Right.
and having to serve hard time as a young child. And I think so that name is really important. Caution is important because one, it was, I got to break free from what I used to be, and I got to step into who I'm about to be, right? And then I gave it that acronym. After I had that acronym for a long time, I realized, well, I don't have to be under the influence of no one anymore, like I'm rooted, I'm grounded. So now I want to be in community, right? So then constantly after understanding, so I'm trying to understand people, their backgrounds, where they're coming from, whatever, that inspire opportunities, right, for us to grow collectively and networking, right? So like however we're gonna cross those bridges, make those connections. So that's Caution.
That's incredible. And that just continues to show just your y- your intelligence is incredible. I mean, the way so do a little background. I met you at All the Way Live events at the Swiss.
Yeah, back in the day.
So I really only knew you as a spoken word poet, and the way you just put together words and sentences and metaphors and similes, it was amazing. It was the candy one.
You remember that Candy Queen?
Yes,
Queen.
it was amazing, and you just entranced me that night. I remember just trying to really understand what you were saying. It was amazing. So we'll get more into the spoken word, but you are so much more than that. You are, as you said, you had been incarcerated, and you were able to really become a major influence in the community. So tell us more about that.
I think that the interesting thing about that is like we're called. All of us have a calling. We're all called to do something, and sometimes it's not known to us, and sometimes it's shown to us. And I just feel like my calling has always been community. I was a leader not by choice, and I led some people astray. I led myself astray, but I led others astray. People that were following me that I didn't even understand were following me because I didn't understand the influence that I had on them per se, or even the magnetism. Like there was just something that would get people around me. They would just stay and then do things if I wanted them to do it, even if I'm not asking them to do it. And so like prime example would be while I was incarcerated, I said something like, somebody should go punch that dude in the face. like just talking reckless, like didn't actually think somebody was gonna go do that. Somebody got up, went and did that. And then I remember the guards was taking me to the hole, and I was like, I didn't touch anybody. I didn't do anything. And he's like, sometimes we're leaders not by choice. And that shit just sat in, like it sunk in. Even I was a child, it sunk in for me like, man, people always do be like following me. Like if I'm gonna lead, I gotta make sure I'm leading people the right way. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna
Right.
follow whatever I'm doing regardless. So make sure I'm doing shit that I could be proud about, or that I could, like not feel like I've done people wrong because I done walked them off a cliff with me type of stuff. So I think that's in a way how I got into the community work, but I think really it comes back from restorative justice, right? So from the moment that I was released at the age of 21, um, the very same institution that incarcerated me, they contacted me and they said, Terrence, would you be interested in coming back to the prison and speaking to the youth? And I said, my peers? I'm their same age. Like I was like, my peers? Like what are you talking
Right.
about? And they were like, well, we're willing to pay you $650 for like 30 minutes of your time. And I was like, what? I was like, these are the same people that were just locking me up, and doing wild shit. And I'm thinking like,
Right.
this is so bizarre that they want me to come back in, but they knew my light. They was trying to dim it the whole time, but once I was free, they couldn't do anything. They were like, man, let this dude come back in here and just let him, let him do what he do. And so I'm coming in there from the moment I was free, I was going back in there. So that spread out to other institutions, group homes, women's prisons, adult prisons, to being flown out to Oakland to protest the super jail being built in Alameda County, like just having these really wild experiences because we understand the prison, we understand the school to prison pipeline, and we are advocating against the school to prison pipeline. We are advocating against, right, prison for profit. And so that puts me in a lot of community spaces,
Right.
right? And then when you're in community, sometimes again people call on you, and I think through like the ceasefire stuff that you may have seen, I was called on by community. It wasn't necessarily like it was like my idea to do any of that. Like I had nothing to do with that. I was at home minding my business, and I got a phone call say, hey, I'm in a meeting and I don't know why I'm here, but you should be here. You need to get down here. And that's community. Like,
Right.
this is somebody that knew me, knew I had a responsibility to be down there and do service for my community. And so I showed up, and yeah, it ends up being all those things that it was. So that's a little bit about me and community.
Right. So with the prison system, you had actually created this lesson plan, this book, this lesson plan. What do you call it?
Oh, it's a book.
It's a book.
Yeah, it's a book.
It's a book. So tell us more about this.
Okay, so Through the Eyes of the Judge is the title of a book that is part of the Gateways for Incarcerated Youth. It was founded by Dr. Carol Menu and Suzanne Cravey. Unfortunately, Dr. Carol Menu just passed away, but her memorial will be at Evergreen on August 10th, and just in remembrance of her. So this book is really important for a lot of reasons, because this book is only here because of her. Like, she created a pathway that brought humanity to young people, and through that allowed us to send our work, our art, our words, whatever we could do, our little prison paper mache, whatever we could send out, right? And they took that and they displayed that on the college, and it empowered us, right? They taught us how to become empowered, essentially, but it started by having grace and humanity. And in prison, you don't get that, so it was very interesting. And they're fighting to be there. The prison doesn't want to be there, but they're coming in through the school, and it's all the politics, all the red tape. So this book is really important. The very first author listed there is Simeon Terry. He actually died right after he got out, but he's very dope to have been part of this project. He's a good friend of mine. And a lot of the people on here are now dead. Fortunately, Jonathan Smith is not. He's good and alive, and Terrence Turner, that's me, good and alive. We're good to go. But some of these people aren't even here with us today. So it's always an honor to be part of this legacy work. This book has been required reading at Evergreen State College for literally the last 25 years. So for 25 years, students that come into that school, that pick that class, they have to read that story. And it's 8 autobiographies of young men, because a year prior, they had published my first book, which was Incarceration is Death, Can You Survive? And in that book, it was so powerful to them. They said, well, we'd like to do this again, Terrence, with other young men, but could we add your story from your first book back into this book? And so that's how it became published twice before I even got released.
Oh, wow.
And that was really powerful, to hit the ground, to go in a gang member, looking at crazy sentence and to come out educated, self-educated on top of that.
Right.
And wiser, and rooted, uh, not in everything, but definitely like rooted in wanting to do something different. Like I didn't exactly know what that was going to be, but I just knew it had to be something different. And I think that was what's most interesting about the connection and community is everybody in this community knows how long I've been doing this work. Like you didn't know that part, but you're not really in that vein, right? So
Right.
if you were in that vein, you'd know how long I've been doing that type of work, right?
Right.
So when community sees me, they're like, yeah, he's dependable. If he say he's gonna do it, he's gonna show up. Like if we need support, he'll figure out how to help us. And I think that's important, I think
Yeah.
that's what makes me who I am today, and why I care about community, why I want to show up for them. It started out as like retribution, essentially, like restorative justice, like go back to the community you harmed and heal with them, if they allow you to, and I think I'm doing that.
Yeah. Definitely. So how does it feel to be this type of published author where you get to impact so many people within this college class?
Yeah, actually, the book goes much farther than just that college class, and it's ironic because the job that I have right now is I mentor youth through Pierce County probation, and most of the youth have to go to Raymond Hall in order to get put on probation. So at some point they've come into the detention center and then bailed out or got out, but they still have to maybe have an ankle monitor on or they're on probation. And when I talk to a lot of these youth, they're like, "Oh, you're Terrence. We read your book. Oh, you're Omari. We read your book." So it's nice to be in community with other authors who are also formerly incarcerated who do some of the similar work that I do. And these youth tell us about this book. So right here in Tacoma, not out in the Olympia campus. You know what I mean? That's right here happening every day. They in these streets, and they go to Raymond Hall for a little bit, and they stumble across this book and they read it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one of my mentees, just a short clip. One of my mentees was like, whenever I meet a young man and I start to begin that mentorship relationship, I always tell them my story. So
Right.
they understand, like, I'm gonna be vulnerable, just tell you everything right off the top, so ain't no weirdo stuff, and this is just who I am, like I ain't trying to hide it. And I started telling him the story, he started finishing it. I was like, oh, he goes, I read your book. I said, oh, that's crazy. He goes,
So you
I
already
heard
knew.
this story. I was like, what? So, and that, that's a long time removed. Like when I wrote that book and the mode I was in and that lens and that vein, this kid wasn't even a thought
Right.
yet, right? And now this is a young man who's reading my story some crazy odd years later, and it's impacting his life. So it's just a testament, it's the power of like words. Like it's just the power of what words can do and how we can harm people with words or how we can lift people with words.
Exactly. And just the way that you use your words is so powerful. So let's see. So you had mentioned the ceasefire, Tacoma ceasefire. How was this experience for you? And do you think that it was do you think that it was a stepping stone to the to the ceasefire, to the whole reason for it?
I think this was probably one of the most important things I've ever seen Tacoma do.
Yeah.
On a moment's notice, Tacoma showed up for itself, and I was completely impressed, like tears in my eyes, because I had never seen the city do that. There was grandmothers and babies and all walks of life, all colors of life, all people converged to show up to say we're tired of our babies killing each other.
Right.
It was powerful. So it was necessary, and that Tacoma ceasefire, that is its inception. It was from that rally, that march right there, you know, and so just an honor to be part of that space. And that was the call that I got, where there was a meeting happening and I wasn't there, right?
Right.
And somebody called me like, bro, I don't know where you at, but you got to be here. This is important, bro. They need you. And so it was an honor to be able to walk side by side with my community and see my community show up like that. It was very, very powerful. Unfortunately, it didn't stop the killings.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got to think about that. But it was good to see the city en masse showing up for each other. It was. I promise you, I never seen anything like it. And I'm from here, like 100%. Like seen it all, been there for a lot of this shit, and I
Right.
had never seen that. So off of the loss of those lives, those young lives, those horrible tragedies, came this, right? Bloods, Crips, East Side people, South Side people, like it did not matter. People
everybody.
just showed up with love. And yeah, it was a priceless moment.
Do you think another thing like this would be beneficial, or would it be something people would get behind again?
I think if the city is asked by the right people to show up for itself, it will. I think the city is ready to be active. They just need to know how to act.
Right.
And they need good leadership for that. And if anyone's going to lead them, they cannot be leading with ego, because you're just going to destroy whatever movement, whatever cause that is. It's going to be destroyed before it started. So I don't know if a rally or march is necessary right now, but I know what is necessary is if we actually ask the young people what they need. Right, because they're the ones living in it. They're the ones dying over it. So rather than us judge and critique, we need to figure out how do we have a conversation with them so they could be honest about. And that doesn't mean just because you meet when you be like, all right, tell me, they're going to tell you. No, this is a lot of work to be done here. But
Right.
it's got to start with them in the conversation, because all of us getting together, rallying, and they're not at the table does not empower them. It does not make them feel heard. It does not make them feel like what they're doing is mattering unless it's something wrong, right? And so I think that would, if we want these young kids right now to stop killing each other, I think we need to listen to them. That's it.
I agree. It's all about having conversation, open conversation with everybody, and it's hard to do.
It
It's
is.
really hard to do. It sounds easy.
That's why I always say, when you going where? Oh yeah, don't talk about politics or religion, you know, because those are
Right.
hard conversations, right?
Yeah.
Well, so is this one. Just as hard.
Now, out of that,
That was the proclamation, so that's still connected to Tacoma ceasefire.
right. And I know I had heard about this, and it was great work that happened with it, but like you said, conversation is definitely still needed. Let's see. So we have some other pictures I want to go through and see what was going on. So you sent me this one.
That was recent. You can see the glow. Glow included. Yeah, that is. So that was last year. Last year was crazy because last year I felt like I could move, because I was injured, in a car accident, and I had no mobility. Like, was literally in a wheelchair for about 6 months, and then was in a cane for like another year. So once I was able to like really move for a whole day or something without the cane, I was like, you know what? Starting next year, I'm taking 2 flights once a month for the whole year.
Oh, wow.
Which is insane, because I didn't budget that shit or nothing. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, and this is actually outside of Campfire Coffee's All Bets on Us that I was able to perform at. They blessed me with an opportunity to perform there, and I came outside, and that's their people's photography. It's not my iPhone. I wish.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's actually the last time I saw you was All Bets on Us, because El Rock did his thing there too.
Yeah.
So
Shouts out to them, my guys.
Let's see. So we have Poetry with Intentions. I have been meaning to get out here. I swear. I've been telling JT even. He's been like, hey, are you ever going to come? I'm like, I'm trying. So you do these every third Wednesday at
Intentions
Smoothie Bar. And this has been going on for like a year and a half now.
Year and a half, successfully.
Consistently. Which
Never missed a beat.
Which is awesome. Just
Yeah.
a whole bunch of you just get together. Oh, hold on. I think you sent me another picture of everybody.
I did. Bam.
Yeah.
And that's not everybody, but what we would start doing at the end of some of our shows is any of the poets who performed, we'd all get them to take a picture together
Right.
in mass. Because we were always trying to taking candid shots throughout the night, but we wanted to have like one to just show who are the people that are actually performing. And this is actually a really funny story, to be honest with you, because my friend, where is he at over here in this picture? Okay, second to the left, right there, with the locks pulled back and his arms folded. That's
Okay.
my partner, my homeboy Leroy, and he called me out the blue. He was just like, "Hey, I think we should do spoken word." I was like, what? Like, he don't even do spoken word. So it was just random. It's my rapping homie. We done did a lot of music together. We got albums together, and we're actually working on an album right now, currently, actually.
Okay.
And he just got, well, what was the last release he just did? I'm gonna mess this up. It was, I thought something to do, oh, No More Tears. So he just released No More Tears. It's on all platforms. Shouts out to my guy, Leroy. But he calls me like, yo, we should do spoken word. I was like, what? He was like, well, I know this lady who has, she's a black business owner, and she owns a juice shop. Like, she's trying to let us use the space. I was like, okay, so what do you want me to do? He was like, I don't know, you do that spoken word shit. I was like, what the hell? I just got bamboozled right now. He's not even slick. It's not a paid gig for me either. So I just want to, this is community work at its finest. Just want everybody to know. I've been volunteering my time now. And no, but it was funny. I met the owner. He was supposed to be there at the show or at the shop to meet with us and kind of be the buffer between. So because he knew her, I didn't know her, and so I'm walking
Right.
in blind. I go in there. He doesn't show up. Now I'm there by myself. She's like, "Oh, you caution you, Terrence?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, so what do you need? Tell me what you need." And I'm like, and shouts out to Marquita, Intention Smoothie and Juice Bar, right? But she asked me, like, what do you need? And I was like, I don't need anything. I just wanted to see the space. And she was kind of like, okay. You know, like, she's like, I don't know if this is going to be successful at all. You know what I mean? Like, she just had that little, like, smirk on her face.
Not knowing who you were.
Basically, just not knowing how connected the community is, right? And
Yeah.
so, and I didn't even understand that people were going to show up en masse how they've been showing up, to be honest. But that's the beautiful thing, right? We don't have expectations, right? But we're willing to be inspiring or to be creative.
Right.
We can create something out of nothing, right? And it can create itself, like collaboratively, right? And like authentically, right? And organically. So this is completely organic. And so she offers the space for free. It was his idea. He works the counter and helps set up the tables and break everything down. And then I'm the host that has to do the poetry shit. You know what I mean? And poets show up from all around. Actually, this beautiful lady right here is a poet that's
Okay.
come to Intentions many, many times. And so just an honor to be able to create that container. And the seats fill themselves, right?
Right.
And we don't really promote that hard. So
You don't.
but the seats fill themselves, right? So it's like, who's supposed to be there is always there, and it works for us, you know? So it's just, and there's no microphones, there's no stage. You are on the
Okay.
same level as them, so everything is like this, it's connecting, and it's an intimate space, so it's connecting.
Okay.
And that's what we want, right? As creators or writers or artists, we want connection. We want to connect, right? So what better opportunity to support a black-owned juice bar, right? But also to support community, because poetry is therapy. Poetry is
is.
healing. So like we just created another healing space in our town, and everybody's welcome, and there's no fee. It's free.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
can't beat that.
No, not at all. And it just happened this past Wednesday.
Yep. We just had it. I think the next one will be August. I think it's 21st or something like that, if I had to remember correctly. But
Try to come to that one.
but it's always dope. I promise you. You will always see something like, wow. You will be moved. You will be inspired. You will feel an emotion that maybe you didn't want to feel. Like, you know, they don't play around there. They keep it real.
Yeah, no, and if do you do your thing?
Yeah,
You
okay.
do?
I usually ask the crowd because sometimes we have a long list and I don't want to
Right.
take up space, especially as a host who's already like cracking jokes in between and doing all the other shit. But I usually ask them, and if they want one, then I'll do it. You know, I'll participate.
Okay.
But
Okay.
so yeah.
No, I'm definitely gonna need to come and check it out for real, cause it's just you, it just looks amazing. Let's see, and it's. I think for me, I really needed to see if it was still gonna continue,
Yeah.
and it has been.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see it.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's see. So you have. Let's see. This was you with the Swiss.
Yes, that's about the time when I met
Yes, this was about the time we met. I want to say this was 2017 or
you.
18.
Yeah, yeah. Shouts out to D Money all the way live. Like
I missed those shows.
Yeah.
Those were amazing.
they were good. I missed that band, man. That band was amazing.
Band was great.
Oh my god. And
Yeah.
the D1 experience. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Rock, did you ever go to this? No.
Oh, this was
Oh, it was
fire.
amazing.
Absolutely fire.
And so many people came out to support it too. Almost every time, even the one they did up in. Oh goodness, was it Bellingham?
Yeah, they did. They did one.
They
that was
did one in
far away.
Bellingham.
Yeah, I remember that. Cause I was doing all the flyer work for them. You know what I mean? All the graphics.
So we have more pictures. Let's see. This looks like a young you.
It was like I think it was just the year before that. To be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, it was the year before I met you because this is Maxim's 2016-ish, maybe even 2015. Let's give it 2015 to be fair. So, but yeah, this is doing spoken word actually. That's spoken word at Maxim's. It was a spot in Seattle at that time.
Let's see. Now we need to talk about this picture. What's going on here?
Hey, now you weren't supposed to show that to nobody, okay?
You sent it to me.
You're right, I sure did. Everybody needs to see this picture because I don't wear suits a lot. So first of all, let's start there. And that girl, you can see she's pressed up on my butt. She's way too close. Look how much space I gave this man in front of me. But look what's going on behind me. She's touching me. So, this was actually, I was just starting to get my glow. It would have been a different glow. It's not the glow I have now because I have an abundant appreciation to be alive right now.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever been grateful to be alive. So that's the glow I have now. But this glow was shit was popping for me. Shit was about to happen. Like I was about to go on tour with, they called it it's the hip hop train or the hip hop, it's basically a traveling hip hop show.
Okay.
And Common was in it, and I was connecting with some really, really powerful people. I just did a show in LA. Then I came back down. This was a big deal, big red carpet event. Quincy Jones, Beyonce's mom type shit. Like it was next level. Like I was just glad to be there. It was so dope. And these two women right here in the front, they were part of bringing me down there. I believe they flew me down there to be a part of that experience because they wanted to hire me to do music shops in schools in Yakima and Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how that transpires.
And did you do the music shops?
No, because right after that, I got crushed by a forklift. So before I met you, I was injured on the job, and that destroyed everything. Like I couldn't walk in that time, but I wasn't in a wheelchair. But I lost all my opportunities because they're not gonna wait for you. Like I had met a publicist, like it was, and it just everything just went silent. I was in a really bad place. When I got hurt, I was angry, like really mad, and it was a work-related job, and so I felt like they just didn't give a, you know what I mean? So that felt some type of way. Like I'm a human being, they don't care, they're just looking at numbers, trying to displace accountability, you know, it was wild. But the second time when I got hurt, right, I was so happy to be alive. So I healed quicker, the experience was different, right? And so it just wasn't the right time. It was, you know, God, the universe was repositioning me to be here today on your couch, right? But that was a different trajectory. That would have been a different caution right there.
Okay. Let's see.
It was rubbing shoulders in Hollywood, so it was different, a little different.
All right, and then what's this about? What are we doing here?
So this is dope because I randomly found all these pictures this morning, just so you know.
Right.
Like this last minute, but I did it. And I don't know even how I was able to get you a little piece of everything, but I did. So this is actually inside of Green Hill, where I was serving a juvenile life sentence. This is not that long ago. This was pre-COVID though, so let's just say 2018.
Okay.
The guy I mentioned earlier, Omari Millie, is the gentleman in the middle next to the tallest brother, and he's also a published author and has been doing a lot of powerful work. He's currently a professor at UW-T, and actually Christopher Johnson right here is also working with him in the same program, and they are both bringing educational programs to prisons here in Washington. That young lady right there became a lawyer, but she's also doing the juvenile justice work. The lady to the right of her is actually one of the young kids I used to mentor's mother, who on that day came up to visit her son. She was not able to see her son. They weren't going to let her see her son because of some politics that were going on. Her son got injured by guards, so they had a lawsuit. So it was a touchy situation. I walked in to speak that day, and this is important. Actually, I didn't even think about this story, but I'll tell this real quick story. I got a call right before I was supposed to get there that day, and they said, and this is just a resource fair inside of the detention, inside of the juvenile prison, not the detention. And these are some of the volunteers and facilitators that came out and worked that day. We're all free. We all just came inside this facility. So we're not allowed to take pictures of the young people. So there aren't any pictures of them. But that's us right before the event ended. But before the event started, I got a phone call that said, Terrence, would you be willing to show up at Green Hill about 30 minutes early? And I was like, what? Like, why do I have to come there early? Like, that's where they were like, no, somebody remembers you and they just want to talk to you. Like one of the old staff or guards that worked there when I was there back in the day was now there at this facility or still at this facility, and they wanted to talk to me. So I showed up, and a woman came up to me and she started crying. She just immediately started crying, and I recognized her, but I didn't really understand why she was crying. And she was just like, we treated you so bad back then. We've changed a lot. The system has changed a lot. Things are getting better, but I'm just so sorry. And she was just like heartfelt apology. I was thrown off. I was like, I don't know what you do to me. I don't remember nothing you did to me.
Right.
Like, but I do remember the mentality and how it was in that time. So I'm like, okay, this must be what she's referencing. I walk into the room, that young lady standing there, and she goes, she's shaking. She's like, I want to see my son. They're not going to let me see my son. I said, well, guess what? I just had a conversation with somebody that got a lot of pull around here, and they said whatever I needed, they would help me out. So, and they said they've turned a new leaf. They said they're doing things different. I said, so I'm going to walk over there and ask if you can see your son today. And they let her see her son. She got to participate and be in the whole event and everything. So
That's
that was just a
awesome.
dope moment. I totally forgot about that until I looked at the picture just now.
And that just is another, I can't think of words today, man. But that just goes to show again how influential you are and how people really do look up to you. I know I do, and so it's just that's incredible. That's a great story.
Thank you. Also leverage, using leverage. She exposed it.
Hey.
We're going to test it right now.
Right, and it worked.
Put your money where your mouth is. I want to see what you're talking about. For real, or just for real?
I love this picture because you're clearly just having fun, laughing. What's going on here?
Another
studio?
dope experience. So this is Jambox Studios that I was telling you about, Manhattan.
Right.
And this is important because, when you come from where I come from, like getting shot at 13 is a traumatic experience, right? Shooting other people is traumatic, right? Going to jail as a child is traumatic, right? Causing harm to others and having harm caused to you is traumatic. All these things are traumatic, and we're not processing the trauma. We're not taught how to process the trauma.
Right.
We don't have any tools on how to regulate, right? So we rebel, we act out, we do all this outlandish shit. It causes all this backlash, and then we repeat the cycle, right? This picture is really important because I had a friend that when I first moved to California, I moved out there, and I just told him when I met him, I was like, look, I'll fuck with you on this music shit, because he was young. He was real quick story, I'll tell it. He said he ran up on me in the apartments. Now, mind you, I just moved to California. I don't know nobody, and I'm in Corona. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
okay?
There's nothing out there.
Have you been?
I had a friend that was incarcerated out there.
All right, so ain't nothing. The tumbleweeds, these things, this is what's out there, okay? They got the tumbleweeds out there. So I'm like, what? So I this dude runs up on my car with his other homeboy, like, you know, chest out, like, what's up, all the extras. And I'm like, oh my God, I just got here. Here we go. And there's no black people where I was, so they're the only black people, and they're flexing on me. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, no, I don't need this. But he was like, hey, yo, buy my CD. You know, he was super aggressive. And I was like, buy your CD? I was like, I'm not gonna buy your CD, man. I said, but look, I'll do you a solid though. I said, I'll trade you. So I popped my glove box and I handed him a CD, like boom. He was like, and my CD was a pressed up CD. His CD was a recorded CD. So he was like, oh, you do music. I was like, you know, his whole demeanor changed, right? He just went from, oh, now, wait a minute, let's talk about this. Cause I really, really am invested in music to this day. He's actually like, I'm so proud of him, you know, shout out to my guy C.A.U.T.I.O.N. But I met him when he was 18, and he's a grown man now, you know what I mean? And so we've been tough for a long time. We went through some shit together, and we've been rocking this whole time. But he was already doing music, but I inspired him how to do it the right way.
Right.
Like I was like, nah, man, you gotta lay the album down like this. Nah, go copyright your shit, bro. Nah, do it like this, bro. No, you hire the lawyer, get the agent, do it this way, you know what I mean? And he was the only person, I had a record label, they didn't listen to me. I grew up with some of these cats. They didn't listen. Right. I moved down to Cali, meet this stranger. He took everything I did and just ran with it. Next time I saw him, he's like, you want to come to the show with Nipsey with me? I'm going to do a show. I'm going to be doing the shit with E40 and Bone. You want to come get on the show with me? He put me on more shows than I was on in my own rap career.
Oh, wow.
He put me on more shows. That's somebody that I basically like menteed, essentially. You know what I mean? Mentor. He was like but he's my friend though, so I don't want to get it twisted. He's like my little brother. Yeah. But this story is important because he calls me and he's like, yo, I'm in New York, man. You should come out here. He's from the West Coast, but he just randomly calls me like, I'm in New York. And so knowing where we come from, but we live in a whole different lifestyle. We hopping on planes, we doing grown man shit. You know what I mean? I can't even express to you how good it is to have that feeling. He calls me like, I'm in New York, pull up. And I got the ability in the time schedule to pull up. So I pull up. Well, my friends, you can't see them, they're out of picture right here, but they're also there. They're from Connecticut. They're from Hartford, Connecticut. And he used to be on my record label back in the day. And this is years later. And I call him and say, yo, I'm about to be in New York, pull up. We all met up and we all went in the studio, moment's notice, and recorded a song. That clip that wouldn't play, that was the video of us in that studio recording this song. So it was just some dope shit. Like, so that's why I'm just like, I'm in my element. I'm like, hell yeah, because like, to know all of us and our background, where we've been from, and we were all able to just pull up, and we don't even get down like that. We don't see each other every day. But just on that moment's notice, we did it, and we're creative, and you know what I mean? Like, seize that moment to make a memory, a real one. You know what I mean? So.
Well, and that's what's so incredible with creatives like us, writers and artists, and we can pull up anywhere and just, you know, it's incredible how powerful, you know, the creative juices flow, and when creatives just get together.
Yes.
I love being in the studio, just on the watching, you know, the creation of a song from start to finish, from the beat to the, I mean, it's incredible, and it gets me going. It's like, okay, now I want to write. No, I don't make music, but you know, now I want to write something. And so I definitely understand. That's cool that you were able to just go. I'm kind of jealous about that. I don't have that ability yet. Hopefully soon. Now we have you.
So that's just me.
Is this your studio setup?
Chilling in my little studio setup right there, just chilling.
Is this your current studio setup? Like, is this what you?
It looks a little bit different now, but essentially, yeah. I've toned it way down. I don't need all the extra stuff anymore. But definitely, it's the lab, you know, and a lot of creation has happened in there. I'm talking definitely over 10,000 hours for sure. But yeah, I'm a producer, an engineer, a writer, an artist.
You do it all.
I do it all. The only thing I don't do is what you guys are doing right now. I don't do video. Like, I can, you know, I dabbled in Final Cut and some other things, but like, you know, I'm not really, just never invested any time into that platform specifically. But yeah, making beats, sequencing, you know, recording, you know, mixing. I love it. and I've done a lot of hours, recorded a lot of people. That little clip in the back right there, the little wood frame that you see, that's actually off the original booth that was made way back in the day. And when I destroyed the studio, I kept that facet, basically that face of it. And so it's like one of the sides of the signing post. So there's some like a lot of people that have signed that they're dead now. You know, so like it's just powerful. And there's like different people's hoods on there, and no disrespect, they're all just showing love to the music, you know what I mean? So it's beautiful. And some of those things that are kind of like reflective in the background, those are some of my albums or collaborations that I've done. And yeah.
Okay. What's that gold microphone?
That I wish that was an award. We were talking earlier
that an
today.
award?
I was like, I ain't never got no damn awards though, man. I always get a backstage pass, but I don't get no awards. I need an award. Like I ain't got no damn awards. That is from Madame Tussauds in Washington D.C. That shit is just a golden microphone from the Dan Wax Museum. I thought it was amazing, so I bought that
cool.
shit.
I
and
thought
then
it was an
I
award.
dropped that shit, and it broke. Shouts out to making shit better, okay? Make it better. Heavy ass shit. I brought that back in my luggage. Go break. Go cheap ass, fake ass gold. Get out of here.
That's hilarious. Thought it was an award for a second. I was like,
No,
what?
I wish.
What are we doing?
That's not true. Shouts out to Love It J, rest in peace. I won MC of the Year 25360 Hip Hop Award. I forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Forgot about that. I do, and it's on my wall. I forgot about that. It's in the room. It's on the wall. Okay, I did get an award. My bad.
We got you performing.
This is so that's my guy C.A.U.T.I.O.N I was telling you about, and this is us in Modesto, California.
Oh, why?
Okay, Modesto. And I know you're like, what?
I'm from Sacramento, so Modesto.
Right, and you know it's dusty over there too, right? Corona and tumbleweeds again. But here's the crazy thing about Modesto. Modesto has something called X-Fest. You ever heard of that shit?
I haven't.
Okay, yeah, that was some powerful shit. So today in Tacoma, they had 6 Ave shut down. It's called, what was it called? Art on the Ave, right? They had, I don't know, 20 city blocks shut off. They had in downtown Modesto, they had shut off like a 20 block radius, not just 20 straight streets, like a 20 block radius. And in the intersections of each of those cross streets downtown, they had stages with live performances on and famous people at these stages.
Oh, wow.
And we performed at one of the stages. So this was a dope ass event. There was like, I think it was, they expected 30,000 people to be at the event because it's a walk, you know, it's like an open walking event.
Right.
And I think about 15,000 people were there the day that we performed. So that's a lot as an artist from Tacoma that can be in some kind of setting where there's 15,000 people walking around to hear your music. That's fucking wild.
Wow. Let's see. We have one, I think we have one more picture. What's the story with this one?
So that's old ass Spice One in the middle, but shouts out to Spice One, that's my guy. And he was actually up here in Tacoma. This is on right outside of a Tacoma recording studio, and the studio's no longer there, so I can't remember the name anyway to plug it, but we appreciate you. It was on the hilltop. It was behind the urgent care, the little urgent care. That's all I know. Okay, I forgot what it was called. But Spice was up here doing a show again. That's C.A.U.T.I.O.N, and I believe C.A.U.T.I.O.N was signed to Spice One's distribution label.
Okay.
And so when he comes up here to do shit, I get to hang out with him. Chill. So it's just somebody I grew up listening to. So it's dope to know him. And I only know him because of the little dude, not the little dude, but when he was little, because I mentored him. Because he's the reason why I know him. So it's not the other way around. So it just goes to show, like, you can get your flowers while you're still alive, right? And like people can really show you that you did inspire them. There's another story that you should know about, and I don't even want to not be able to say it without saying his name, but his name is Chris. I'm just gonna say his real name. But he's famous right now. He's a famous ass producer right now, like making shit that y'all listen to, y'all heard, right? And this dude hits me up, I want to say 2 months ago, and was like, he was out here doing a show. You know how they have shows at Lady Luck sometimes?
Yeah.
So my guy Philmo be doing shows, right? Yeah. So Philmo brought some cats out here just like 2 months ago. And apparently, like 20 years ago, he came to a workshop that I had done with some young kids, and I brought recording equipment and I recorded them and we made songs together. And he comes to Tacoma and he asked somebody, he's like, we're in Tacoma, man. Does anybody know that dude Caution? and my guy Dion, so Filmo was like, yeah, man, what's Caution's number? So he calls Dion, gets my number. Dion's like, is it cool I give your number? I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Right.
He said, yes, this famous dude, he wanted to talk to you. I was like, what? So they put me on the phone with the dude finally, and he's like, you ain't never gonna believe this shit, bro. He's like, but you inspired me, man. I'm a multi-platinum producer right now. And I cried, because it was just like, what, to wake up in the morning. Did I cry? I felt like crying. I thought I cried. Yeah, I was like, I thought I cried. Because this shit, it was like I woke up and that was what I was blessed with. Like, I get this is all happening as I'm coming to awake, and he's giving me my flowers. And I'm like, I tried to remember the kid because I had pictures and it got put in the newspaper. So I had I keep everything. So I got all that shit anyway.
Yeah.
But I was trying to put a face to that kid and I couldn't. But I heard it in his voice and it just moved me. And I was like, damn, like, that was some of the dopest shit I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't, like, he didn't have to remember me.
Right.
He didn't have to show up in Tacoma and ask for me.
Right.
And I didn't have to be doing so much shit in Tacoma that when he asked for me, motherfucker actually knew who I was. Right? Because all that had to happen for that to happen.
It's amazing. Your story is incredible.
Who you telling? I was like, you want to do a podcast? Don't play. We do a baby documentary over here. Don't play.
No, for real.
Do a Netflix miniseries.
This is not enough time.
It's not. Let's do another one.
Now, we have an upcoming event, April 29th. So this is going to happen, this is going to happen before this drops. So, but talk about the slam poetry night. Is this something that happens a lot? Is this a recurring thing too?
Nope. This is old. This is antiquated, as you can see
this
from
is
the
old.
glitter and the crackle in the graphics.
Oh, okay. My bad.
This
Okay.
is pixelated.
I
I
thought
know why,
this was already
'cause
coming up.
I know where the image came from, and it was from me. But no, this is important because this is Saul Williams. This is the famous slam poet who is also the actor in the movie Slam that inspired me while I was incarcerated as a young man. They wouldn't allow us to watch any kind of rated R movies, and this movie was rated R. And we had a black kids group in there, and the little staff dude was like, I'm gonna let y'all watch this movie because I think it's inspirational. And it did, man. I watched the movie, I was like, what the fuck? Because I've been rapping my whole life. I had never heard anybody do that with words. Like, I was just blown away. So if you if you think I'm dope, and you don't know who this person is, please Google him when you're done. But Google his old shit, okay? Don't Google his new shit. Because his new shit's like movies. He's doing some other shit now. It's like, and just watch the movie Slam. That's all I can tell you. That's enough. Just watch that, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, but this is me. I'm Caution, right? Saul Williams, and I'm opening up for somebody that was just like a figment of my imagination, essentially, because I'm incarcerated. I think I'm never getting out. I think the world don't care about me. And I see this film, and I'm like, I want to do that. I do it. I get really good at it. Then I meet him, and not only do I get to meet him, but I get to open up for him, right? And then they come back a few years later and do it again, and then a few years later and do it again. So it was just that's a big opportunity, right? To be able to rub shoulders with somebody that you looked up to.
Right.
That's all. So that's super
awesome.
old though.
I don't know why. I read the date is August for some reason, and my mind's
Mine is telling
crazy.
me no.
So that was old. So that's really cool though. Your story's insane. So we have you as a published author.
Yep.
Spoken word poet.
Yep.
Music artist.
Yep.
Community leader.
Yep.
Do you call yourself an activist?
No, actually, I just say I'm a concerned community member.
Okay.
I'm serious. Everywhere I show up, they'd be like, "What's your title? What's your accolades?" I'm like, "I'm just a concerned community member."
Right.
Because we don't need to make it about us. When we're really here to show up for community, we can stop with all the accolades and the titles. We can cut it all out. Like, I know we worked hard for them and we want them, but we can't be bound by them.
True. Yeah.
We gotta tone it down a notch.
And then you also have, let's see. So as far as your books, where can people find the books you have out already?
So that book can be found at the Evergreen Bookstore or on Amazon. But if you buy it through Amazon, which is much easier because everybody has Amazon Prime and shit, I'm well aware. But if you buy it from the bookstore, the proceeds stay in the college and go back to the program as opposed to buying it from Amazon. So, but to each their own in the world of convenience.
Right. Right. And is that, what about your first one?
The first one is not it's not available
It's
right
not
now.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not spending any money on that. They did it. We spent it.
Okay. And then you had said before we started the interview that you have another book you're working on.
Yeah, that's actually a poetry book. And that
Okay.
one's really important because people have been telling me for a long time to finish this book, and I still need to finish this book. But yes, it's a compilation of poems, but not just any poems, very specific poems that I've written around this major transformation of being more open and honest about who I am, where I'm going, and how I want to move, and just being less restricted by like anger and regret and hostility and blame and all the other shit I was carrying apparently for way too long.
Right.
So that book is dope because it's like they're really dope poems. Because I have poems that are like, you know, fuck the system. You know, I got poems, so, and my delivery style is aggressive, right?
Yeah.
But I also realize that like I also have a soft energy, right? And I want to be able to use my soft energy to reach other people, because not everybody wants to hear that amped up shit. Not everybody wants to hear that, you know, some
Right.
people want to hear, you know, legato versus staccato. So, you know, being an artist, wanting to be heard, right? So I want to make sure that like, so now I slowed the delivery down. Like now the style's told, like from what you saw, like,
Yeah.
I used to slam the deliveries, like, which means you're going to do it in a timed manner. So you're going to say it as fast as you can. Now I'm like, I'm trying to be like slow with the words and melodic with the words and talk to people with the words, right? And so it's a whole different experience. So this book's going to be dope. It's called All Roads Lead Here. It will be available soon on Amazon. I know, weird.
But we don't have a release date yet.
Nope,
We're
we're
still
leave it
working
that
on
way
it.
so I have time to bullshit some more if I
Right.
need to. You heard? Okay.
Now, where can we find your music?
Music
Is it out?
It's out.
It's out.
It's out.
We just have to look up Caution and
That's
it'll
it.
come up?
Now here's the thing. This is what happens. I'm gonna tell you, young aspiring. If anybody young is watching this, you know better anyway, because you're from a generation that don't even spell words out. You abbreviate everything. But
Right.
listen to me now, young person out there. Make your name like 3 letters or less. Don't put no periods in between them like my ingenious idea was to do. Because if you just type in Caution without the dots, not gonna be me. There's about 50 other people that are named Caution that are famous now that do all kinds of great stuff. But there's not me. So you have to actually type in C.A.U.T.I.O.N. Nobody wants to do that. That was so stupid of me to do this. So nobody's coming to my page. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? I done ruined it. Okay? So be smarter than me. Keep it short and sweet. QR code, something, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, that's what's going on with my music. But if you put the dots in there, we
can
okay,
find you.
I'm on all platforms. Just put the damn dots in there.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I found out when I remember when Spotify came out. My daughter was like, "Dad, are you on Spotify?" I was like, "I don't know." She was like, "Let me see." She was like, "Yeah, you are." I was like, "Damn, I'm on Spotify." I didn't even know. Like, you know what I mean? I'm so old. I've been doing music so long. My digital distribution shit is from back in the day, and I'm
Right.
I'm grandfathered into everything. New shit come out, I'm on the platform. I ain't even heard of the shit. You know what I mean? So it's
wow.
I'm on there. I'm in there. I'm good. So they're like, "Oh, he's old. Let him have it." They don't care. They ain't gonna listen.
That's awesome. Oh my
But that's
goodness.
where you can find it. You can also find, I did a project, okay, music lovers. If you really do hip hop, I challenge you to beat my challenge. I recorded a song a day and posted it for the entire year. 365 songs. Now, I don't mean every day I record a song, take that back, but I posted a song or rap, recorded, and shot live iPhone video of a footage of a song, edited in Windows Movie Maker, which is horrible, okay, by the way, but I did that. And then posted it, and this is after working a 9 to 5 every day, okay? And I did this project back in the day, say it was 2014, but it's called Caution 365. So if you look up Caution 365 on YouTube, you will see 365 tracks from me, nonstop.
Wow.
Yeah, so what artist do you know, locally or not, that has a catalog that big? So that's the depths of the music I've been doing, and that's not even all of it, because I got Reverb Nation, I got SoundCloud, and they got different songs on there.
Right.
You know, because of different media usage rights and whatever. Because for a while I was so gung ho. You can laugh at this. I was like, I will never ever use a mixtape beat in my whole career. I'll make beats. Oh my God. I don't even want to make a beat again. I just want to use all their beats. I just want to use their beats. Their beats are amazing. I don't have to do it. I just want to listen now.
Right.
So I ended up going rogue like halfway through my career, and they had hella mixtapes. They're fire too. They slap better than my other shit. So it is what it is. I'm cool. I ain't even mad. I fuck with the mixtape beats. Okay.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to look up your music.
A lot of that out there too. Yeah. I would say I'm prolific. I produce a lot of things. I'm also a graphic designer, right? I'm also a proud father. I'm also a regular artist. I did some airbrushing for a while. One of my paintings is donated to the Osho Center in Tumwater. Shouts out to Kushida in the Tumwater, Osho Center in Tumwater, and donated. She has wonderful art throughout this space, and it's just a beautiful community space out there. But I donated one of my my most prized painting to that facility because of the work that they do in community, and it just matched all the other beautiful art they had going on in there anyway.
Okay.
I was like, ain't nobody looking at this shit in my house, my little ass apartment. Nobody put some little lights under it, like the museum and shit. Like,
have your own little art gallery
what
showing.
What exhibit is this, Terrence? You know what the fuck that is. Sit down, right? Asking me crazy questions because I pointed a lamp on my own picture.
I love this. I love that I'm getting to know you on a different level because, again, I only know you from the poetry, which is incredible in itself. So this has been amazing. I think we need to wrap up, though. I think we're coming up to an hour. So, C.A.U.T.I.O.N, thank you so much for joining me, taking this time out to come here. Tell people where they can find you, social media, anything.
I'm gonna be real. Just find me in person.
Right. So you.
That's it. I don't really ever give out my social media tags. One, my Instagram is lacking. The gram is fucked right now. I'm playing catch up from like 3 years ago, trying to post all my travel pictures and all the beautiful shit I've done in my life. And then my Facebook's been hacked before, so I'm like sketchy on, giving it, just randomly shouting it out. So, but I'm in community all the time. I show up to open mics, spoken word events, community events, cookouts. You can invite me over if you got some free food. I'll come eat it. I'm here. I'm available. I'm accessible.
Yep.
And you can just ask somebody like, do you know C.A.U.T.I.O.N? They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? There you go.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth or word on the beat.
There we go. I can connect you with him. That's not a problem.
Connect gang.
Now, this is something new that I've decided to start doing. I want to see, who would you refer me to reach out to be on the show?
To be your next person on the show?
Not necessarily like next, but down the road eventually. Who do you think would be a good guest?
I think there is a lot of talented people right now that are being very creative, including this young person right here. There are tons, but right here in our community, getting down right now, like on multiple different levels, from how they're showing up in community, like for instance, Mari, Black Night Market, right?
Yeah, actually, he has been referred to me already. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries, but her, for sure, right? Doing amazing things in community, amazing things. She has her own poetry night as well, and I feel like every time I turn around, this person's doing something that's benefiting our community, right? And so there's a lot of people, and then showing up at all these like open mics and stuff, you can see all this talent. Like, she was just at a talent show yesterday that was far away, and the brother that was just at our Intentions was at the event with her. So it's just like this out here. Like, these people are talented. They're not just rappers. They're not just poets. They do all kinds of amazing stuff. So Marquita Evans, Black-owned juice bar, who's been hosting the space for Intentions. this would be another good person that's doing things, because she also does like I think she has a nanny service, and she's doing
Okay.
other things too. Like always something empowering. I feel like is going on with
Right.
her and something. So another person, that we can raise awareness.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what this whole show is about. I do showcase artists, now and then too, but the podcast, the talk show, that's really people like you. That's who I want to showcase. So.
Well, yeah, I can definitely put some more thought into it later, and maybe even send you a couple more names.
Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely let me know.
Some definitely some powerful stuff going on. I promise. That definitely podcast worthy.
Definitely.
100%.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for being
You
here
as
and taking the
well.
time out of your busy schedule. I guess we are going to wrap up now. So, everybody, thank you so much for watching, listening. You guys need to get to know Caution. He's amazing. So, you can find him, I guess, by word of mouth. You can find me at Word on the Beat 1, Word on the Beat, the number 1, on all social media platforms. We are shooting here at the LX3 Collective Space in Tacoma, Washington.
Dope space.
So if you need podcast, photography, videos, we have a recording studio 24/7 upstairs with 2 in-house producers. We can get you connected with them. Let's see what else. Shout out to my amazing executive producer, L Rock. You can find him at Long Live L Rock, LROC, on all platforms, music and social media. And yeah, I think we're done. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh. Do I get to keep the pager? I like it now.